8 games, the first day of January, the first day of 2025. Let's preview them. Let's talk about streaming options. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and maybe old acquaintances should be forgotten. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky at joshlloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Check out lockedondaily.com. We've got newsletters for your favorite team. Sign it up, lockedondaily.com. Get it delivered into your inbox for free, 5 days a week. Also, thumbs, bang, subscribes. Ring the new year in the correct way by subscribing to this channel and leaving reviews on the audio side of it too. Double bangs are always appreciated. I'm going to try and get through this preview show pretty quickly because I went extra long on the buy lows and sell highs earlier today. I had to split them up into 2 shows, so I'm running a little bit behind schedule. Hopefully not too bad. It is National Polar Bear Plunge Day. So if you've never taken an ice bath sort of plunge or into the cold water before, I actually do it. Like it's shocking, and in the literal sense of like, oh my god, what just happened? And you go, can I breathe? I can't move, whatever. And you get out and you go, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. I don't know how it does it. I'm sure there's some sort of science or magic behind it, but it's good. We're here to talk about games. We're here to talk about what's on my radar. That's where we're going to start the show. What a shock, because that's how we do it every time. The first game up is the Bulls. It's the Wizards. We are in Washington for this one. Chicago, let's talk about the schedules on both teams. Chicago, only 2 more games this week, Wednesday, Saturday, and then 4 games the week after. Washington is Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, into 4 games in week 12. Dosunmu's out, shockingly enough, after they called him doubtful last game. We know he's out. You told us he'd be out. Torrey Craig, after really playing well last game, he is doubtful in this one. And then Zach LaVine is questionable after his toe fell off last game and missed it. And now he's ready to return, maybe. He said he was going to be available, so we'll see. Jalen Smith and Dalen Terry are both probable. Marvin Bagley's out for Washington, while Jordy Poole and Carlton Carrington are both questionable. Carrington suffered the head injury last game, and Poole's been out for a couple with a hip problem. On the Bulls, I featured him on the Sal High Show. Josh Giddey has been very, very good over the last 8 or so games. He's putting up big numbers. The shooting percentages are up. The rebound numbers are through the roof. If Zach LaVine is here and available, where does Giddey go? What does he do? What do his minutes look like? Dosunmu out does help Giddey, but I do believe there's a really big sell high in place for Josh at the moment. For the Wizards, I don't want to watch this because it's pretty disgusting, but Kyle Kuzma, it's more about like how much is Kuzma playing, because he barely played last game coming off the bench, and that's sort of been the pattern for his injuries this season. Does he go back and start in this one? Is he at 30 minutes? Does he hijack the entire team? That's what we want to watch. In terms of stream guys, Patrick Williams looks like the guy on Chicago, and I hate to say that because he's bad, but he's got a really strong run of minutes, and he's playing them relatively consistently, so we do like that. On the Wizards side, Brogdon should just be rostered anyway, but he is available in a lot of different spots. You would have him over at Justin Champagnie, whose role is very much up in the air every single game. It does appear. The second game, we're talking Orlando Magic and the Detroit Pistons in Detroit. Schedule-wise, we are going Orlando Wednesday, Friday, Sunday into 4 games week 12. Detroit is Wednesday, Friday, Saturday into 4 games. Paolo's out. Franz is out. Jalen Suggs is probable after leaving last game with a wrist sprain. That is a pretty consistent pattern from this man. He gets hurt and then he comes back. Mr. Black is questionable. He missed the last game, Anthony Black, with a back problem, and he didn't practice. So I'm going to suggest he probably doesn't play. And then on the Pistons side, Simone Fontecchio got ruled out for personal reasons, and Cade Cunningham popped up as probable. On the Magic side of things, well, last game with Mr. Black out, Wendell Carter started again at power forward. So he played 27 minutes. The games before he was playing 17. It seems like unless he starts at power forward, him and Goga won't cross over at all. So we need to see where he sits now. I don't think he's a 12-team league player. He's more of a streamy guy at this stage, much like KCP, but we see how they utilize him. On the Pistons, this man sucks. He's terrible at the moment. He might be terrible forever. Tobias Harris. But I firmly believe he's not going to play 24 minutes a night, nor average 2 rebounds, or shoot 10%. whatever it is that's happening at the moment. So let's see if he's able to get like something going. For the streamers, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Wendell Carter and Tristan Da Silva, maybe Mr. Black, maybe Trevelyan Queen, probably not. Those other guys are more priorities for Orlando. Then Leaky Beasley for Detroit, and the whole Pistons team was bad last time out, so everyone's production and minutes were down. Beasley's been really consistent, and usually when he has a bad game, he's shown an ability to be able to bounce back. So he's probably my guy we want to look at there. Nets and Raptors. The Toronto game from Tuesday has already finished, and they got smacked by about 55 points. So yeah, that was interesting. Nets, Raptors. Brooklyn plays Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday into 4 games. And then Toronto is just Wednesday, Friday into 4 games. There's a lot of things to pay attention to injury-wise. We know Bojan Bogdanovic is out, but they're resting Cam Thomas in this game. It is the first of a back-to-back for Brooklyn, so he's sitting out the first game. Ben Simmons is playing the first game, and then they'll do a switcheroo for the second one. Trendon Watford remains out, but Zaire Williams is questionable. Now, I would expect Zaire coming off the knee sprain will be on limited minutes, and if he plays Wednesday, he won't play Thursday, vice versa. So we'll see where he's at there, but he is questionable here. Cam Johnson left the last game early, but he's available to play. That is a little bit surprising to me. And D'Angelo Russell and Maxwell Lewis, who they traded for, are going to be available as well. Quickly is going to be out for Toronto, and it looks like he still hasn't done contact in practice. I do not know what's happening with that injury. Continues to be really frustrating there. I don't expect Bruce Brown to play. He played in today's game. It's a back-to-back, so I don't think he plays. And then Rowan Barrett and Grade A Dick both missed the game on Tuesday. Barrett, when they originally gave, it was just horrendous reporting. I was like, man, straight after the game against the Celtics, he left the arena, went straight home, and he's out for unspecified reasons. Like, okay. And then the guy followed up and go, oh, by the way, I should have said it was because he was sick. Yeah, you should have said that. You should have said that's why he left, because he was sick. So it's one day later. It's back in Toronto. I don't know whether Barrett plays, and same with Dick, who had hamstring soreness, tightness, whatever they want to call it. I'd say they're probably both on the doubtful side of questionable, and you might get news that they're being ruled out anyway. On the net side, it's clearly we're just watching D'Angelo Russell. Of course, we're not going to get a full picture because Cam Thomas isn't there, but we're watching D'Angelo Russell. And then Scotty Barnes. I put him on the buy low show for the Raptors. He's been really bad of late. I need to see, like, number one, like, can you block shots? Because you can't at the moment. That needs to change. For streaming, Ben Simmons is available in a lot of spots, and yes, D'Angelo Russell will have an impact, but there is no Cam Thomas, so Simmons is worth looking at. And then Jacoby Walter, I think there's many opportunities for him to get minutes here. Brown, Dick, didn't mean to put those two together, and Barrett all potentially not playing, and that should give Walter a little bit of extra runway to, be streamable. Speaking of lots of injuries, the New Orleans Pelicans and the Miami Heat, lots of guys to talk about. In this one, the Pelicans go Wednesday, Friday, Sunday into 4 games week 12. The Heat are Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday into 4 games week 12, and the Heat are 10-point favorites here. Zion's out, Ingram's out, Makovic is out, and Jose Alvarado is doubtful, so his return is coming really soon, obviously. Probably looking at Friday for Alvarado. Jeremiah Robinson-Earl was a late scratch last time out for the Pelicans. He's questionable. And then we did get the suspension news in. Terry Rozier is suspended for 1 game. Tyler Hero is not suspended at all, so Rozier won't play here. Josh Richardson remains out, while Duncan Robinson is questionable. He missed the last game, and return to competition conditioning legend Jimmy Butler is also available to play. Let's see how hard he plays. Let's see what he does. Back-to-back. Will he just sit the second game of the back-to-back? Because he's not ready for that? We'll find out. I just realized that I didn't change what I'm watching for from the game before, so my bad. Well, I'm not watching D'Angelo Russell and the Pelicans. What I am watching is DeJounte Murray and his ability to hit a shot at some point. Can he do it? Don't know. On the Miami side, it's really just about Jimmy Butler here and how they're going to use him and how this impacts the Hayward Highsmith, Nikola Jovic rotation, because it does. Yves Missi is probably a Pelican stream, and I know he's like 99% rostered on Basketball Monsters advanced number, and that's true. Right, so you guys have all got him. But he's only at 38 on Yahoo, so he's around. And he just shouldn't be for now, even though I have long-term skepticism. And for the Heat, it is probably Nikola Jovic that I'm streaming in. Jaime Jaquez is a disaster nearly at all points. But again, we're remembering that Rozier isn't playing, so there is a slight bump for some guards in that spot. But the Heat are incredibly unpredictable. And Jovic has been better of late, but it could go terribly realistically at any point. With the rest of the games to come back and chat about. Before we do that, Rocket RX is bringing you today's episode. So if you're ready to boost your confidence and take control in the bedroom, Rocket RX has the solution. Imagine you could feel more prepared and you could be performing at your best. And Rocket RX makes it simple and stress-free. Rocket RX offers FDA-approved treatments for erectile dysfunction at lower cost than branded alternatives. You don't have to worry about uncomfortable doctor visits or pharmacy trips. It's all delivered straight to your door in discreet and plain packaging. Trusted care from real US clinical teams. Rocket RX gives you that and more. Free prescription can be yours with 100% online consultation, which is very, very quick. Visit rocketrx.com to get started now. It only takes 2 minutes right now. Listeners can get 40% off your first order when you use the code LOCKEDONNBA. That is rocketrx.com, code LOCKEDONNBA, for 40% off your first order. Terms and conditions applied. Rocket RX, better sex made simple. Let's move on to the next game here. We're talking about the Utah Jazz. They're going to take on the New York Knicks. Now, the Jazz beat the Knicks in that first game in Salt Lake City. I think they did. The Knicks are 14.5-point favorites here. The Jazz play Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday into 4 games week 12. The Knicks are Wednesday, Friday, Saturday into 4 games. Injury-wise, we're looking pretty clean. Johnny Collins remains doubtful with this hip problem that's going to end up costing him quite a bit of time here, and we'll see how they manage him when he comes back. We know how they've managed with him out. It's just been a rotating cast of faceless bums. So we'll see which direction they go. While Mitchie Robinson is out again. Of course, he's out until February. What am I watching for on the Jazz? Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, Keontae George, they're both there. Sexton played under 30 minutes last game. He was trending towards 23 a game previously. Do we go back to that? Well, we will find out. On the Knicks, OG Anunoby has been sort of pushing backwards a little bit. He's sort of outside the top 140 over the last 2 weeks. I think there'll be a bit of a change, and I think he's going to be one of those up and down players. We're just keeping an eye on the usage, the shooting, all that stuff. Jordan Clarkson is one of the premier streamers for the day, but can always go bust, but he is a really strong option. And then on the Knicks, it's either Juice McBride or it's Precious Achiuwa. You don't want to feel super confident about any of those. And maybe Jalen Brunson does pop up on the injury report with a questionable tag and plays 38 minutes through it. That is also possible as well. Interestingly, last game, 2 games ago, they started Johnny Juzang, and the game before that, they started Cody Williams. They've actually sent Cody Williams back to the G League, so I don't know that he's going to start, but it could be Michael Potter. It could be Svi Mihailuk, who's been getting 0 minutes. Drew Eubanks got 0 minutes last game. He might be back in. Could be Bryce Sensabaugh. Who knows who fills in that other spot? It's going to be all over the place, and it's going to be confusing, and it's going to be unpredictable. The Dallas Mavericks and the Houston Rockets. This is the next game. Both teams dealing with suspensions, interestingly enough. Dallas is a Wednesday, Friday team into 4 games in Week 12. Houston is a Wednesday, Friday, Sunday game into 3 games Week 12. Doncic is out. Exum is out. Najee Marshall is suspended. And then last game, Dallas sat everybody. So Clay and Kyrie, I'll put them questionable. I think they're probably closer to probable. A lot of probables in that sentence. The one that I don't really know about is Derek Lively II, who's dealing with a hip problem. With him out, you stream Gafford, and then when he comes in, we want to see the Gafford-Lively scenario. Amen Thompson got suspended 2 games for the Rockets, so he's out for this one. He's out on Friday. Jalen Green is not suspended, even though he got ejected, so he's okay. Dylan Brooks is questionable for personal reasons. Okay, Tari Eason is questionable again, I'm guessing, with lower leg injury management, which we are considerably worried about. Jayshawn Tate missed the last game, so I'll put him questionable with an illness. And yeah, that's a lot, man. And they all play very similar positions. On the Mavs, we are watching Daniel Gafford. 20-plus minutes, fine to hold. Under 20, don't have to. And then on the Rockets, Jabari Smith is on the downturn. Let's see if he's able to get things figured out and get back to some of that form from a couple of weeks ago. Dinwiddie remains the best streaming option on Dallas, and he's just a must-roster player across the board. And then on the Rockets, I'll put Cam Whitmore there. Now, it would be Dylan Brooks, but there is a chance that there's no Amen. Well, there's no chance. Amen is out, but you could also have no Dylan Brooks, no Eason, no Tate. So that's a lot that Whitmore has to do. You're also going to see more Reed Shepherd, I'm guessing. You might also see some Aaron Holiday in there. But the guy with the biggest potential to pop off is Whitmore. Now, don't think it's exciting. Don't think it's a long-term play. It might not even be a one-day play. But there is a chance with multiple guys all sitting in a similar position, you could be in there for something. Hawks and Nuggets. In Denver, we go to this one. The Nuggets are 5-point favorites at home. Atlanta and Denver both play Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Atlanta's got 3 games week 12. Denver 4. Larry Nance is out. Bogdan Bogdanovic with the leg issue. I'm going to put him as questionable while Dyson Daniels missed both of the games on the weekend with an illness. I think he'll be available, so I'll put him as probable. Vlatko Cancar and Aaron Gordon, I'm expecting both of those guys to be out for Denver. I'm watching DeAndre Hunter. I detailed why on the Sal High show earlier today because he can't miss a single shot. His usage is really high, but maybe it stays high. His minutes aren't through the roof. He just can't miss. So we're just watching where he goes and the role and what happens if Bogdan is back and who loses the minutes there because Ricochet had pushed up a little bit. We'll see what they do. And then for the Nuggets, Christian Brown, who with Russell Westbrook playing really well, it's impacting Brown. I think Gordon being out helps him, but we're always monitoring to see usage, role, minutes, and how they want to use that. Stream guys, it is ricochet to me on the Hawks that I look to stream in. Not super confident with that, obviously, nor am I with Peyton Watson, but that's probably the best bunch of those. Like, obviously, if Russell Westbrook's available, he's an option that we go to instead. The final game of the day, Sixers, Kings. Schedules is Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday for Philadelphia into 4 games in Week 12. The Kings is Wednesday, Friday, Sunday into 3 games. Joel Embiid is resting first game of the back-to-back. They play the Warriors on Thursday. The Warriors. So Embiid is sitting on Wednesday. KJ Martin's out. And then the triumvirate of old farts, Gordon, Drummond, and Lowry all missed the last game. They're questionable again for this one. While Jay Crowder, where it just literally doesn't matter, he is questionable for the Kings. So on the Sixers side of things, I'm watching Gershon Yabusele. Big minutes last game, and we could be in a spot where there's no Drummond and no Embiid and no KJ Martin, which would mean 30-plus minutes for him, putting him into a really good stream spot. But I want to see the minutes split between center and power forward for Yabusele here. For the Kings, DeMar DeRozan's been really bad. Really, really bad. I want to see if there's any change from Dougie Christie, if he's able to get him going at all, and how. It's all these guys are something. DeRozan and Sabonis and Murray, they're all really struggling at the moment. In terms of stream, guys, Kelly Oubre rewarded the stream with 8 steals last game. Don't trust that, but he's a big-minute player, and there's always an opportunity in that spot. And then Keon Ellis, at least to get some steals. He played 20 minutes last game. Maybe that goes up. Maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure. But he did get 20 minutes and a couple of steals in that last time out. Let's have a look at some schedule plays. Back-to-backs and chunks and all that stuff that we can take advantage of. There are 3 teams with the Wednesday, Thursday back-to-back. It's Brooklyn, Miami, and Philadelphia. So you're looking at players on both of those teams, understanding, of course, that Ben Simmons is going to sit Thursday. Cam Thomas will return Thursday. Embiid is out Wednesday. He'll return Thursday as well. Miami, the risk is going to be with Jim Butler and in the absence of Duncan Robinson, but Rozier will return on Thursday. So I do have Noah Clowney on this list. Yes, he has struggled to do really much more apart from shoot threes, but his role, I think, is relatively strong across these 2 games, and I do like that as a chance. Same with Oubre, who's going to get a lot of minutes. Yabusele, at least, is going to get one really big game and probably a solid one in the second one as well. So he's there. Caleb Martin, the minutes in his favor. Nikola Jovic, the uncertainty's not really something we love, but the opportunities maybe going to be afforded to him. The same with Jaime Jaquez Jr., who has been bad nearly every game, but maybe you just get the 2 games in. Maybe it's 40 minutes for the price of 1 ad, and maybe 1 game he pops off. Maybe. There's a lot of maybes in there because, I'm sure you're well aware I'm not feeling particularly confident with him. If we want to get chunky, that is the rest of this week. Wednesday through to Sunday. 5 days left. Who plays 3 games? Well, there's quite a lot of teams and there's quite a lot of guys that are useful. I've already talked about Noah Clowney, but Malcolm Brogdon, I just think he should be rostered. I don't like to say that, but I do. Kelly Oubre, Jordan Clarkson, 3 games this week. Now, don't be shocked if there's a random plantar fasciitis injury pop up, but 3 games, 5 nights, really useful. Lou Dort, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. These are all the guys that sit on the periphery. You go, well, maybe, but when you've got a 3-game in 5-day window, you'll get a bad game in there, but you're just hoping to hold them for that period of time and get 2 good games, maybe 3, maybe 1 gigantic one and 2 mid games. It's possible, but with the uncertainty of those guys, that's why they're not must roster. But when scenarios like this pop up for Oubre, a Dort, a Caldwell-Pope, a Clarkson, that you want to just take that extra volume that you get at this point and utilize it, hopefully. Let's come back and talk a little bit more about streaming in a sec. Today's episode, though, is brought to you by Rocket Money. Subscriptions, they are a great way that you can be spending more than you need to. And with Rocket Money, it is an app that can help you find those unwanted subscriptions, the ones you're paying for twice, cancel them, and get that money back into your pocket. It's a personal finance app, the old Rocket Money is. It helps you find and cancel those unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending. It helps to lower your bills so that you can grow your personal savings. It brings it all together in one place, and Rocket Money has over 5 million users, and they have saved a total of $500 million in cancelled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year for those who are using all of the app's premium features. You can cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That is rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. All right, I've got one more little schedule-based thing to look at. It is the 5s and the 2s. Over the next 7 days, so Wednesday through to Tuesday, the first 7 days of 2025, Miami plays 5 games. So all of these workhorses like Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson's dealing with an injury. You got to watch for an overload of minutes there, and it's going to give an extra ample opportunity for Spoelstra to tinker with the rotations. Now, Rozier's missing one of these games. I expect Robinson misses one. I expect Butler misses one. But there's opportunities maybe for Alec Burks. Maybe it's a Jovic or a Highsmith stream. Maybe in deeper leagues, Superman Khalil Ware. But 5 games, 7 nights. You've got an opportunity. Jaime Jaquez Jr. as well. Like, he's been bad, obviously, but a really concentrated portion of the schedule. On the flip side, Cleveland has 2 games. So, Levert, Strus, Wade, Jerome. You don't care about any of them for any 10 or 12 or probably 14-team leagues. There's just not enough happening there with 2 games in 7 nights to have those mid-level contributors be considered as must-roster players. Let's get into the streaming now. Let's talk about let's start with the streams of the day. For 10-teamers and 12-teamers, I'm going to go to some Chicago Bulls. Pat Williams, Lonzo Ball. We got big minutes from Lonzo last time out, and Dosunmu is out again. So maybe there's another opportunity for Lonzo to do something good. So 10-team, Pat, 12-team, Lonzo. 14-team, I'm going with Peyton Watson, whose upside is probably a little bit capped coming off the bench, but still enough there. And 16-team, I'm going to go with Precious Achiuwa. Remembering, I'm using the Basketball Monster roster cutoff percentages for this. For Yahoo and ESPN points, I'm using under 40% rostered on Yahoo. So Spencer Dinwiddie still sits there. He's just got to be grabbed. Go and use him in all those formats. Literally every format he should be grabbed in for now. And I cannot believe I'm talking about that, talking that way about Spencer Dinwiddie, but I am because he's doing it. The 10-team streamers here, category leagues, Patty Williams, Lonzo Ball. Keon Johnson gets a real boost here with Cam Thomas out. Now, I don't really believe in Keon long-term, and we have D'Angelo Russell might really impact him, but no, Cam helps. Peyton Watson, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Precious Achiuwa. It does drop off pretty quickly in terms of where these stream guys go. A lot of those guys you wouldn't really consider as strong 10-team guys, and there's a bunch of about like 10 players with very, very similar value, as you'll see on the next page where we talk about 12-team guys, where you've got Gershon Yabusele, whose value would probably jump ahead of a lot of those other guys if we knew Drummond was ruled out as well. Strowther, Caleb Martin, Isaiah Stewart, Juice McBride, Nikola Jovic on that list, and then for deeper leagues, some other names you can chuck into other spots as well. Keon Ellis, Haywood Highsmith, Johnny Isaac, Tristan Da Silva is above the cutoffs here, but he's another name there too. Kevin Huerter, Jacoby Walter with Dick and Barrett both uncertain, and Bryce Sensabaugh because I'm just throwing a Utah Jazz dart. And now we can look at points league streaming. We'll go to Yahoo points leagues. Spencer Dinwiddie, Malcolm Brogdon, just guys to roster anyway. Then Oubre, Clarkson, Clowney, and Patrick Williams. That's a pretty strong array of guys who are all 60% available. And ESPN leagues, it is a similar list, slightly different order. Dinwiddie, Brogdon, Clowney, Oubre, Clarkson, and Patrick Williams. And that brings us to the end of the show. We got there. We got it done relatively quickly. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys gave it a thumb. I will see you guys, a lot of you, in 2025 when the recap show drops, which some of you won't be up for. I'm sure you won't be spending your New Year's Eve watching me, but maybe if you are, that's good as well, because I feel very lucky to have you guys dedicating that time and enjoying what I do. And that's always brought me great joy across this 2024 year, and every year that I've done this is that people do enjoy what I do. They might disagree with my takes. Yeah, they might. And that's okay, because I disagree with my own takes at times as well, because we change and we evolve and we get things right and wrong. But enjoying it and having something that can be positive and fun is always a good thing. So guys, enjoy the night, enjoy the day, enjoy 2024, enjoy 2025, enjoy this show, and I'll see you later. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.